So now let's get into some Drag Race news, and let's talk about this whole thing with the recent episode of Drag Race. Child, that shit was a mess. I was like, and I remember telling y'all, normally I do not sit and watch the sneak peek of Drag Race when it comes up. Like the little 12-minute sneak peek that they do. I usually like to wait until the episode airs and then I watch it because I don't want to be, I don't want like I want to, I guess in my head, I feel like it's an element of surprise. But for some reason, I was like, oh, I already know they're about to drop this thing between Aja and Mistress. And I watched it a lot. And I do feel like, I think I feel like at this point, what caused that little debacle between her and Aja is what caused producers to be like, you know what? We are tired of your shit. And they was like, oh no, it's time for Mistress to sashay away because she's doing too much. It's like, we appreciate you trying to produce this stuff and give us good TV, but we down to the wire and you just not evolving. You being a mess. You starting stuff with people. You trying to get them under everybody's skin. And I understand that drag queens, they do their little banter and all this other stuff, but that's not what all drag is. It's just being a shit stir. I don't feel like that's all that what that is. And I feel like it's just taking away the momentum. So with what happened, in case people aren't aware of the whole situation that went down, that unless you're living under a rock, the girls came back from their, the elimination round and all the other stuff, and Cuckoo was sent home, and apparently Mistress was hurt by it. She felt like she wasn't the worst, and maybe she wasn't, based off of the edit. For some reason, she was chosen to be in the bottom. However, the production and RuPaul decided to go about it, they put her in the bottom with Cuckoo. Me, quiet as it's kept, I don't feel like they wanted Cuckoo there to begin with. So that was why they got rid of her. And me personally, I thought Denali should have made it into the semifinals. I mean, I love Cuckoo. She's very entertaining. She was very entertaining on last week's episode of Roscoe's. I know some people was getting mad with her talking so much, but I'm like, no, those are the perfect guests to have. If you go ask a question and just go off and you just be talking a mile a minute and you just saying stuff. If you're going to be entertaining, I would rather them there instead of me ask a question, you answer it. Another question, you answer it. And then there's all this dead air, whatever the case is. It's like the best, like I said, the best interviewers or interviewees, the best people to interview is people who are just got the gift of gab and they just go off. I'm gonna just sit back and you just gonna do the show for me. Like I get to relax a little bit. I don't have to sit up in here and pull teeth like you have with some of these queens. Ariette, remember when she was on? She was like, well, the worst. Thank God she pretty, but when she was up there, when she came on as a guest for Rock, she was bad. It was like you literally had to pull teeth to get stuff out of her, and we've seen some worse ones up there. So yeah, so after the whole thing with the elimination situation, Mistress was feeling away. Ginger got her record-breaking win because it was like she got 4 wins in a row, which of course some people was feeling away because they feel like she did not deserve to win some of them other ones in bracket 3, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. And then Mistress basically was sucking on being an energy vampire, in the words of Aja. And the queens, I'm glad they didn't give in to her shenanigans. So then we get into the workroom where all the girls are sitting around at the, the little table, and Aja was asked by Ginger how she was feeling, and she was basically saying like, you know what, she she was having a rough week or whatever. And then Mistress starts laughing, and then so Aja turns, what you laughing at? Oh, I can laugh if I want to, and then goes and moves her hair and laughs in her ear, which to Aja's chagrin is like, oh no, bitch. And then, of course, according to our girl Ginger, oh, Mistress, you in danger, girl. That's what it's given. So then we get this picture. Everybody was uncomfortable. I feel like there were some queens that was there, like Bosco, Irene, the alien, mostly wanted to really go in and let Having say something. Because me, personally, I don't like bullies. I don't like all that mess. And I would have said something to Mistress. Like, I understand, like, girl, this is not your moment. This is about me. She's asking me a question, but you up in here breaking the fourth wall, because I noticed a couple of times you kept glancing off the production, like you trying to perform at their expense. Oh, I gotta turn it up for this moment. But this wasn't the moment for you to be doing the mess that you was doing. It made you look really shitty in that point, for lack of a better word. And I think that's when you started to lose the fan base. There will always be people that will sit and eat whatever shit she protrudes out of her ass. That just goes without saying. When it comes to Mitchell, there's always going to be the people in the cult that is going to, make excuses for whatever it is that she does. But when it comes down to the situation, if somebody's having a moment that they were stressing out, and maybe you feel you have a right to feel how you feel in regards to you thinking Aja should have been in the bottom. But if you was in the bottom with her, she would have ate you up and sent your ass home. And production, that's not where they wanted the show to go. They wanted Cuckoo to go. Because Cuckoo is not somebody they look at as we don't see it for her in the Lollapalooza. We don't see it for her in the talent show. So in the what we're talking about in regards of this narrative called RuPaul's Drag Race, that's what we wanted you to be in the bottom with. But we wanted to shake your ass awake and realize you on thin ice. The mess, the shenanigans, all this stuff is cute for a moment. But every episode, and you keep talking about your talent and stuff, girl, we haven't seen it. No, I'm not trying to take away and act like you don't have talent, but if you're going to be on a show where you got to show about the art of performance, you have to come on here and you have to bring that. If your talent spoke for yourself, I don't think people would be going so hard on you with the shenanigans. You could balance it out, but the shenanigans is outweighing the talent and the charisma, uniqueness, and the nerve. So, yeah, the girls was embarrassed. They wasn't feeling her. And then it was like after Aja went in and let her have, and I did see the AI video that's going around of Aja actually swinging on Mistress. I don't know if y'all seen the video, but it's floating around on social media. I did cackle. I think I shared it on my Facebook. I might have shared it. I don't know if I shared it on my TikTok. But yeah, there's like an AI video footage of Aja swinging on her and then doing like a little headbutt and the hair flies and then Mistress gooped and gagged. But speaking of Roscoe's, I actually have footage of Aja talking about that incident that happened during, the show. And because, her and Georges was on the show, but I think the episode already aired because, it's already 8:39 East Coast time. This show, we're doing a 4-hour plus show today. So the episode's already aired. I'm going to go and watch it later on once I'm done with the show. But yeah, so apparently somebody recorded it and posted it online. They probably got it from the what do you call it? Maybe they screen recorded from the Q&A thing, where they do the VIP episode. I think that they get that early before we get the regular edited episode that ends up on YouTube. If you don't want to pay the $2. So I think somebody may have screen recorded it and posted it on the TikTok. So we do have that video of Aja talking about it. I think it closed up, so I'm gonna have to open it back up, and then we will come back and we will talk. Please hold.
Tell us about how that went down. Was it that dramatic, or was it more dramatic than that?
Child, y'all know I'm only gonna talk real shit. So since we got there, first of all, I think it was even a little bit before we got there. Mistress just loves to play games. She loves to it's all fun and games with her. I don't think she really has bad intentions. I just think she just takes shit too far. Girl, from the moment we got there, I was like her I guess, chosen victim because she was just, do you remember that first Untucked? Every 5 seconds, she was like, are you ready for the bottom? She was like, I think you're in the bottom. You're going home. And I was like, oh my God, I'm just sitting there. When your siblings' children is doing too much and you like, I don't want to hit them because they're not my kids. Bitch, that's how I was feeling. I'm just sitting here like, oh my God, here this bitch go again. But when we got to that moment, I was actually getting irritated, but I was really high because Georges, we were about to go to the studio and she pulled out these tiny little fucking blunts and I'm like, oh, that won't do nothing. And she's like, girl.
It did something.
So, people everywhere are like, I don't know how you didn't just turn around and slap the shit out of her. I couldn't. Bitch, I was too high. I had to take a second to like really analyze what had just happened. So I was looking at her because when we were there, it felt way more longer and drawn out.
Sister, when I was there, I was literally shitting my fucking panties, bitch. I was fucking terrified. Normally, because when Mistress started laughing out of nowhere, I said, I started laughing because I'm like, what the fuck is this bitch laughing at now? Like, because Aja was just getting into how she was feeling about the week before.
I'm over here like, girl, my life is horrible. Bitch is just laughing. I'm over here like, girl,
because normally I'm a Mistress apologist, bitch. Like literally. But in that moment, I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck is going on? I was like, I'm uncomfortable right now.
That's
like,
when you pushed it too fucking far.
When the stoner has to say something. Yeah, Georges, did you ever have to pull Mistress away and be like, girl, reel it in just a hair?
Girl, no, because regardless, no matter what I say, she's gonna do whatever the fuck she wants to do. Like the last episode where she had the opening of this episode, actually, when we're de-dragging and all this stuff, she was like over it. She was pissed, and I tried talking to her. It wasn't going through to her. And then Irene walked up to me. She was like, girl, why don't you go talk to your sister over there? I was like, bitch, I tried. The fuck? There's only so much you could do. Literally, Mistress is her own fucking person. And like, girl, she's unstoppable. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay, Aja, after that table moment, how long was it before y'all eventually cooled down and were able to like talk through everything?
So it kind of just happened like the cameras went down. They were like, we're resetting. And then Mistress looked at me and said, sister, we just made some good TV.
She was playing.
And I look at her and I'm thinking in my mind, is this bitch like serious?
Tell us about how that went down.
See, and that's the thing that with her, everything about her is about a moment and good TV. And it's like, stop producing. And I think at that point, production was kind of like, okay, like this is not the Mistress Isabelle Brooks show. Like if you want to produce on your own time, produce your own stuff. You're on here to do All Stars, then you need to be an all-star. You need to get up here and do the show as needed. Stop producing. It was, like I said, I think with them, it was cute or whatever in the beginning, but then I guess it was getting tiresome. And maybe after that little awkwardness at the table, they were just over it. I did notice when I was watching the episode, they did a scene with Ginger Minge having a conversation at the table. I forget who it was. And then they had, if you saw in the corner, they had Aja having a conversation and Mistress was standing there. They should have played that first before they played that video, because then it made me think, I'm like, oh, so now they're speaking in, they're on good terms. So the way they were trying to tell the story, whatever, I don't think they thought about with that shot, how that was not a good shot. Because you pretty much let us know that Aja, and then they played the scene with Aja and Mistress having their conversation, and they basically just like let bygones or whatever happen. So y'all messed up in the editing bay on that one. Now that we got all of that out of the way and I said what I need to say on Mistress, let's get into the episode, because I did like a lot of the performances. They did the reading challenge, which was cute. Diabetic was funny. I did like her, although Bosco definitely deserved the win because Bosco's reads were a cackle. They was just going in. I'm like, damn, is Jordan's really that much of a slut? Y'all was going on her. The Capazio stocking thing, I had to rewind it so many damn times because Lydia was talking so fast. It was like, to my Corey 90 in the corner. I'm like, what the hell did she just say? You're not gonna I'm like, what? No, you need to slow that down, sis. Like, I didn't understand what you were saying. So I had to literally slow it down so many times. Like, rewind it, like, what is this bitch saying? But that being said, or with that aside, yeah, the reading challenge was what it was. A lot of the girls, when they were doing their songs, they did a lot of original songs. And we already know a lot of times when it comes to these drag queens and original songs, a lot of it is a choice. There's some that will, very few that emerges out. But for the most part, you know, a lot of it is a choice. I did notice this after when I watched the episode. I was like, wait a minute. They showed everybody's performance or whatever, except like with the rehearsal, except George's. Now we know why, because Georgia was the only one that came out without backup dancers. And I'm like, yeah, well, we know what comes to George's. She don't need to be up there with a bunch of bells and whistles. Miss Mamas can get up there by herself and turn it out on the stage. And turn it out, she never did. It's getting muggy. I was like, that damn song is in my head. I was definitely living. I was getting my life with that muggy song. Fix your mug, bitch. That's what she was telling you, girls. And I did love the heartfelt moment that they were having when they were talking about, the expectations they had in the finale. And then also Bosco and Aja talking about, American government and their war on the LGBTQ plus community, especially the trans community, and how they said they can't go to certain places because they have the gender they were assigned at birth on their passports. So I was just like, yeah, if I leave the country and I go somewhere and it says male on my ID, could be detained. And who knows what could happen to me in this country. So what happens is this hurts people like Abasco and people like Aja and so many others who make their living as performers. So they go to a different country and they're trying to make money and perform, they're going to be affected. So that's the crazy part about them. And so then after that, we bring Rue comes out, to the main stage, all other stuff. We got Michelle there, Laura Roach, and then Devery Jacobs. I have no idea who she is, but that she was there. But I have to say, she definitely I thought she did a phenomenal job with the judging, even though I'm not familiar with who she is. I definitely liked some of the critiques that she gave. I loved Aja's machete wielder performance. Yeah, into an original song. I was definitely feeling that. It was like, okay, she's gonna give you ballroom, Aja Miyake Mugler. She's gonna definitely give you ballroom down boots. I was living for it. Oh yeah, it wasn't as iconic as her other Lollapalooza performance where she jumped off the box, but nevertheless, she did a great job. I did love Bosco's performance, the burlesque performance. I was loving the makeup, looked amazing. I loved the wig. She was giving me Amanda Lepore down with the, all the other stuff. And the choreography was sickening. Diabetica. I definitely loved her bitch track pop punk performance. I loved the little wig she had on. The choreography was giving. That stapling the check to her ass, I was like, oh, that's giving Dracula. You on the wrong show, sis. You going Dracula. They like all that pain and stuff, but she sold it. Ginger, I was like, okay, she's going to give us Ginger. But I love Ginger Minge's performance. Like, she's definitely a Broadway star. She definitely needs to be on the same, like, we need to be having her as a part of the same conversation that we have people like Jinx Monsoon. Like, I definitely see her on Broadway performing. I don't know why she's not there, but she should be. And Irene, you definitely did your big one. You stepped it up in regards of, the ice water thing. And I loved how you played, you did a play on it. The little ice water thing that got you eliminated. So it was cute. You were very much safe with your performance. So it's not a reason to put you in the bottom. But Georges, as you already know, gave me my life. So Georges definitely was that girl who just ate. Yum, 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 yum. I just ate it all up, crumbs and all. Lydia, I don't know what the hell was going on with her performance with the egg, and then she jumps into the frying pan. I'm like, is she trying to give us something that was reminiscent? Like, is her humor kind of going Willow Pill-esque? Like, I don't know if they're kind of in the wheelhouse of the same thing. I mean, it was cute or whatever, but it was just a lot going on. I didn't know where the hell she was going with a lot of the performance, but you get an A for effort. Then Mistress decides to come out and does this infomercial, Ruzempic, and talking about weight loss, and it just didn't work for me. I was like, at this point, after everything, I was like, I don't give a good goddamn what Mistress does. Mistress could walk outside and, with a dildo, shooting dildos out of her ass. I would not care. Like, I was just over her at this point. TV or no TV. Now, they had the foiled again runways, which was cute. I feel like out of all the looks, one of my favorites, two of my favorites, Diabetes, love the duct tape look, and Lydia, she was definitely giving me xenomorph tease. Like, she was definitely giving me like something out of Aliens, meet Cybertron or something or another. So now in regards to the critiques of for the judges, Devery said that she liked Aja's performance, while Michelle thought that the dress could have fit her better. Laura felt like he's seen her runway before. Michelle basically said that she loved Bosco's comedy burlesque. Laura complimented her gown on the runway. Michelle loved Diabetica's performance and duct tape gown, which all the judges echo. Michelle liked that Ginger stayed true to her traditional roots with her music theater performance, and Laura basically called it his favorite performance of the night, but has a few notes for her outfit. It was like, yeah, she was doing too much because she had all like the gloves and all this. It was just too much. But you know, sometimes when you're a big girl or a former big girl, you're still trying to get used to your new body. So you're always busy trying to hide and cover up things. You got to realize less is more in certain situations. So she'll get there one day where she gives, you know, the fashions and things. Now, Michelle basically told Irene her performance wasn't innovative. It wasn't, but it was, like I said, it was safe. Rue basically said that she loved her wing outfits, but then we had the thing where I didn't even realize this. And so I was like, why was the hands throwing me off? Because it was like they made a mold and the arms and hands looked a little too short for the thing. And of course, her actual hands was in the wings. I did love the wings, though. That was, like, in my opinion, the best iteration of wings on a runway that I've seen since... who would be the perfect assessment? Courtney Act, I'll say. That was the best iteration I've seen of wings on a runway since Courtney Act. You gotta say her name like that because that's how it should be pronounced. Now, Laura basically told Jordis there are too many stars on her outfit. Yeah, I didn't like the outfit, but she said the face is muggy. Now, all the judges gave high praise to her performance. Michelle liked the concept of Lydia's performance, but said it wasn't executed as well as could have been. Laura and the other judges loved her runway look. Michelle told Mistress that she wished there was more of a story with her performance, and Laura says her look was too much, but she gets a round of applause for her heels, which weren't kitten heels for once. Well, look, with all that weight, you know, you don't want to be up in here wearing 9-inch heels because you're going to break them suckers. So now, during deliberations, Aja, Daya, and Irene were safe. They're going to the finale. Bosco, Ginger, and Jordis are also the top 3 queens of the week, with Bosco basically taking the top spot in the cash tip. All 3 queens head to the finale. This basically left Lydia and Mistress in the bottom of the week. I would have liked Jordis to win, but I guess they felt like Jordis was going to give Georges, whereas Bosco really was the standout because she gave like full-on performance and all. So it wasn't like a drag queen, high energy in the club track, which is what Jordis gave. But that was more up my speed anyway. I mean, I love the theatrics too, but I was living for Jordis's performance. Now, the bottom 2 ends up being Lydia and Mistress, where they lip sync to Guess by Charlie XCX featuring Billie Eilish. I honestly did not like the song choice, especially with those two going at it. Like, they really didn't give me what that song gives. That song gives like thrashing about, jumping up and down. Like, it was giving me like, I wanted edge, I wanted fun, I wanted going crazy. I wasn't getting that from those performances. And I just felt like Mistress I didn't like the outfit she had on or the wig. I didn't like the wig that Lydia had on. I just didn't think it fit with the theme of the performance, but y'all wear what y'all wear. But at the end of the day, Ruth saved Lydia. They said Mistress still has a chance to enter the lip sync, which I don't understand how the hell Ross picked Mistress immediately. So there was, of course, it was an edit situation. And the way that they chose who's going to make it into the finale, 2 picked Kerry Colby. One was TS choosing Kerry Colby, probably because, you know, trans picking trans. Michelle also picked Kerry Colby, and I'm sitting there like, why none of y'all picked Denali? Because y'all know I was going hard for that. But whatever. And I like Kerry Colby. Kerry Colby is definitely that girl. She's pretty, body yada yada, sickening. She's a good performance. But as far as like lip sync SmackDown for the crown, I don't know if I see Kerry Colby as that girl though. But we'll see when the finale happens this in a couple of days, which will be Friday. So yeah, like I said, Ross chose Mistress, TS chose Kerry, Michelle also chose Kerry, and the pit crew basically dropped the balls into the thing, and then Bruno wound up picking a ball, so everybody's got to find out who it is next week. But child, the tea's already been spilt. Mistress is not coming back. It is Kerry Colby. I'm sorry if y'all ain't want to know the spoiler, but it is what it is. Like, I don't understand like how that's the only 2 options, but that's who they chose. That's how it is. And that is my overall recap with what Aja had to say about the whole Mistress situation. So I ask all of you, what do you guys think of this story? Do you think that Mistress, you know, although I will say she has definitely given us an entertaining season of Drag Race All-Stars 10, and we was living for the shenanigans and the drama of it all. It was definitely entertaining, but it was just, she was doing too. This got to a point where this got tiresome. It was exhausting. She was doing too much. I was over it. I was ready to move on. And it seemed like a lot of people were ready to move on as well, including production. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. So whatever your thoughts are on this.